You're holding your phone. You don't need anything. You already know you don't need anything, but your thumb is already moving, already scrolling, already looking for something you won't be able to name 5 minutes after you buy it. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice says, I know what this is. I know what I'm doing. But you do it anyway. That moment, the one where you see yourself clearly and still don't stop, that is the leak nobody wants to admit. Most people think a money leak is a bad investment or an obvious vice, something dramatic, something they could point to and say, there, that's the problem. But the most dangerous leak isn't dramatic at all. It's quiet. It's the $14 you spent because you were bored, the $30 you spent because the day was long, the subscription you forgot about because cancelling it would mean sitting with the silence it was filling. Comfort spending doesn't look like destruction. It looks like a normal Tuesday. And that's what makes it invisible. Nobody tracks the purchases that feel like nothing. Nobody logs the $8 coffee that got them through the afternoon. You don't put it on a spreadsheet because it doesn't feel like a decision. It feels like breathing. And that is exactly why it works. The leak survives because it disguised itself as ordinary life. Here is what no one tells you about comfort spending. It isn't about the money. The money is just the evidence. Comfort spending is what happens when your nervous system needs regulation, and the fastest thing it can find is a transaction. You're not buying a thing, you're buying 3 seconds of relief. 3 seconds where the weight lifts. 3 seconds where you feel like you chose something instead of something choosing you. And those 3 seconds cost more than the price tag. Because every time you buy the relief, instead of sitting with the discomfort, you're training yourself. You're teaching your body that the answer to tension is a transaction. The answer to boredom is a cart. The answer to a hard day is a delivery notification. And over months and years, that training builds a pattern so deep you can't see it anymore. You just think that's who you are, someone who spends. But you're not someone who spends. You're someone who learned to spend instead of feel. And that distinction matters, because a pattern you learned is a pattern you can unlearn. The first step is identifying exactly where your leaks are, not the ones you already know about, but the ones hiding in your ordinary routine. I built a free tool for that. It's called the Wealth Leak Audit. The link is in the description. It takes 5 minutes and it will show you the leaks you've been stepping over every day. Think about the last week. Not the big purchases, not the ones you planned. Think about the ones that happened in between. The ones you can barely remember. The delivery that showed up and you had to open the app to remind yourself what you ordered. The thing you bought because the ad appeared at exactly the right moment. The moment you were tired, or stressed, or bored, or lonely. Those are the leaks. Those are the moments your money left and your mind was somewhere else. And the reason this is the leak nobody wants to admit isn't because people are ashamed of spending money. It's because admitting it means admitting what the spending was replacing. It means saying, I wasn't buying a thing. I was avoiding a feeling. That's a harder sentence to say than most people think, because it means the problem was never the money. The problem was always the silence the money was covering. The people who build wealth aren't people who never feel the urge to spend for comfort. They feel it constantly. The difference is they learn to notice the urge without obeying it. They built a pause between the feeling and the action. Not a wall, not willpower, just a pause. A moment where they ask, is this a purchase or is this a painkiller? That question, asked enough times, rewires the pattern. You don't fix this by cutting up your credit cards or deleting apps. You fix it by learning to sit in the discomfort for 10 seconds longer than you want to. That's it, 10 seconds. Because the urge to comfort spend has a lifespan. It peaks and then it passes. But most people never find that out because they act before the peak is over. They buy before the wave breaks, and they never learn that they could have survived it without spending $1. The leak nobody wants to admit is this. You already knew. Every time you opened the app, you knew. Every time you clicked checkout, you knew. The awareness was always there. You just hadn't turned it into a decision yet. And now, you have a choice. Keep stepping over the leak, or stop, look down, and measure it. The Wealth Leak Audit is free. The link is below. Take it today, before the next wave comes, and you forget again. If this changed how you think about your spending, subscribe. Every Wednesday, a new video. Every week, a new layer. I'll see you in the next one.